Hi there, beloveds. Welcome to Monday Musings, our live conversation usually. Tonight it's just going to be me, and I want to tell you about something that Uma and I are working on that we're really excited about. And see if you all have any questions, if you pop in, or if you are watching this later, that you can pop into the chat or the comments for that. And I want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here and for giving us a little bit of your time. We're very grateful for that. So this will be a conversation about the Discovery Deck, which is a new workshop series that we are starting the first Thursday in March. And this is going to be something that we're merging kind of our Creative Musings art journaling class into because we just want to keep things fresh and switch things up a little bit. So what is a discovery deck, you might be asking yourself, and I will tell you. I will tell you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what our Creative Musings work has been up to this point, kind of what we do, because you may be joining for the first time. And I don't want to make assumptions that you know already what we're doing. So Uma, Joy, and I'm Kelly Bonsall. We have been teaching for over a year now a class. Hi, Barb. Oh, it's kind of fun to be on the phone because I can actually see who's popping in. Uma's not with me tonight, so I'm just talking a little bit about what we've been doing and what we're about to launch here in March. So welcome. Thanks for being here. So Creative Musings is a circle gathering class workshop where we have been working in an art journal. And the process is essentially we have an inquiry. My eyes are seeing, or what are my eyes seeing? We do some kind of a discovery drawing process, which is like creating lines and shapes, allowing our intuition and our inner knowing to guide our pen or the brush. And then we look for things that are kind of showing up, and we let ourselves learn, and we find that information. And we called it an art journaling adventure because we have been it feels like an adventure as you explore the lines and you get into the spaces and you bring out the colors. And this one just so happened we brought a face into it. Let's see. Well, here's another one that I got really into some paint. I sometimes add faces even if they're not part of the prompt, but so we've been doing this in an art journal and it's been amazing. And I know, and I'll speak for Uma because we've had this conversation, that this process has just been transformative for us this year. And it's not that it was like this dramatic all at once, but like little by little, when we have conversation about what we have learned and what has changed in our lives and how we see and think about things differently since we've been doing this weekly inquiry process, we have noticed just so much. I mean, for me, it's like whatever the inquiry is threads in, and I see connections that the universe is like pointing out in a different way. Or I say yes to things that I might otherwise not have said yes to because my discovery page kind of showed something to me that I'm curious about, and then something else says, oh, do you want to do this thing? And it aligns. And I mean, it's remarkable. And so we've been really enjoying doing it in the art journal. And we were thinking about how we could sort of switch it up, do something else with it. And I also have kind of come in and out of having a practice with using tarot cards or using an oracle deck to just see how I can spark kind of connections and understandings in my mind. And if you're not familiar with an oracle deck, let me grab one for you real quick. All right, So like here's an example. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle Divination cards by Colette Baron Reed. And so an oracle deck, there's many ways that you could use it. But I typically, will pull some out and grab a card. Blessed. Oh, that's beautiful. And then there's a book that goes with it, and you can kind of read what this card represents and then make those connections with, oh, that makes sense with what's happening in my life, or I was asking about what is going to happen, and that might give me some information on how I can move forward with it, with something that's happening in my life or a decision that I'm trying to make. And the thing that I believe about oracle decks and even tarot and all that is I do think that there is wisdom and magic like in the set and the person who creates it and the words that are there. Like I think there's power here, and I think that the most powerful thing is what you have in you. And the oracle deck is just a vehicle to help you see the wisdom that's already there, that maybe you can't find it for whatever reason. And discovery drawing that and I do is the same thing. It's like you're doing that, you're accessing that wisdom, that information, that guidance that is always and has always been within you and will always be there. So we are moving from the art journal into creating our own oracle deck, because sometimes in the art journal, things get left in the art journal. It's like you make this thing. Let's see what I'm going to open up to, right? You make this thing. You do all this writing about, the reflection of what you've discovered. And then this beautiful book gets closed. I often put it on my shelf. And I notice it every time to time I look back at it. But I thought we were talking about how could we have a space where like the book always stays open, or that we use all of this brilliance that our own selves are coming up with. So creating a deck of cards that you could put on your shelf, or you could put on your altar, or you could put in your the space where you get ready in the morning or next to your bed, and however you want to use them, but that you pull a card of your own wisdom and you get to sort of see what that has to teach you today. The cards that we're going to make in our discovery deck are going to be more complex. Though these are ones that I made where I just did sort of a watercolor wash and wrote a phrase, and like one side has kind of a really brief, the other side is a little more, I am loved and I am worthy, and it has always been that way and will always be that way. That's beautiful. So we're still going to have a side that will have this wisdom on it, but the other side is going to be a piece of art. And so each Thursday evening, we'll make 2 cards, and we will teach some new kind of fun art technique that we can bring into it, whether it's with paint or pencil or collage or stenciling. It could be so many different things. And that's what's also exciting about it. In the Discovery Drawing Art Journal, we've sort of just been sticking with like markers and pen, and sometimes we bring things in, but that's not the point. And this time we're going to be teaching more art technique too, which is pretty exciting, because that's something that we both really love, and I have a lot of mixed media art experience. So it'll have more art technique and the discovery drawing process and the reflection that we do with our discovery drawings, which is some minutes of writing, and that language that we're bringing to the art that we made in the process is so, so important. So then from that language, we will take, a sentence or two that could be phrased as an affirmation or a statement, or, a reminder of what we gleaned from that process, and we'll put it on one side of the card. So again, I don't have a deck yet. I've been working on it. I'll show you my notes though, because I have a little thing here. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. So one side is going to have a discovery drawing, art technique, maybe collage, maybe some stenciling. Maybe you'll learn something new about how to use different paints and things like that. And then the other side will have the inquiry, so you can sort of revisit that inquiry, and then just a phrase or statement or poem or something that comes from your reflection. And so this workshop is meant to produce a deck, if you keep taking the classes, that you can use and that you can bring into your life, and that you can really, when I look back and I read some of the things I've written in my journal, I can't believe the wisdom and beautiful words and thoughts and things that I've thought about myself that I don't think every day that have come through. And I would like to be able to have access to that in like a more tangible way that I could kind of work with. And I think it's going to be really fun. And again, I just love art that you can hold and touch, and you could put it in your pocket, and you could like carry it around with you. It's just something precious that you're going to be making that will be a guidance of your own voice, your own inner wisdom, your own inner guidance system, that muse within, speaking through this discovery deck. And we are starting the first Thursday in March, and it's going to be like a month series at a time, because we'd like to have a theme for that month, so we can kind of keep building on the inquiries that we're gathering. The first Thursday will be a larger circle of sharing kind of about that theme, letting all the beloveds process that, teaching about the techniques that we're going to be using specifically. We'll let people know in advance what materials they're going to need. Nothing will be too difficult to get, and we'll always have like easy options, things you can just find easily. But and so what will happen the first night, and I already cut this one apart, but we'll have a piece of watercolor paper, right? That'll be all one piece, and we'll paint one side of it. And so we're charging it, we're energizing it, we're blessing this paper for getting it ready for the things that we're going to be creating and discovering on it. And then we'll tear that apart, and we're going to make 8 cards that first night. And then the next Thursday, we will make our first 2 cards. So we'll be on the side that's still plain, doing discovery drawing, painting, coloring, collaging, whatever magical art process will happen there. It'll become a small art piece. And then the inquiry that we're using and the reflection will go on the side here. So it'll be a 2-sided piece. And so there's 3 more Thursdays in each month. So we'll be doing 2, 2, and 2. And then you'll have an extra couple of 2 cards that you can do on your own, or if you do something you don't like, you'll have an extra couple. So lots and lots to do. So for the month, you'll have at least 6 cards. And then you bring it into our next month, and you add to your deck, and you add to your deck. And I'm really looking forward to having a beautiful, artistic oracle deck that is of my own making, because I appreciate not only the wisdom that I read and that I gain from tarot cards and oracle decks and things like that, but I also love the beautiful art that's on there. And, we always say like, this is an intentional creativity process, which it's not necessarily always about like loveliness and pretty art, but even the things I make that are kind of like raw and, not pretty, still they're charged with that process and the energy when I made it. And to me, that's beautiful. Beautiful. So with that, I hope I didn't share so much that it felt confusing, but enough to get you excited to want to create with us. And I see Patricia's on here. Hello. And Barb is still watching. And I see we have a third person, but I guess I missed when the name popped up. But if you all have any questions, you can type them into the comments, and I think they will just pop up for me to see. We usually do our live through another platform because it allows Uma and I to both be on the screen. And so this looks a little different tonight. Just being directly on live from Facebook. But again, the thing that I just want to leave you with tonight is that the wisdom and the healing and the guidance, it is all right here within you, and you have access to it at all times. And we really benefit from having a light or something point us, to that, or something to amplify what that voice is saying. Sometimes it's nature, being outside, looking at the trees or the sky or noticing something that can amplify that voice. We start to hear it. Sometimes it could be a friend or, a therapist or someone else that's kind of helping us to hear our own voice, our artwork, intentional creativity. That's the whole thing with intentional creativity, is really opening up and helping us to hear that voice. And oracle cards. And so we're sort of combining some of those things into this play. Hi. All right, Barb, let's see. Okay, so I will put, as soon as I'm done with this, I'll put a link for some more information about the Discovery deck. I do not think that the registration link is 100% ready to go, but it is still up and running for our current Creative Musings class. So if you signed up for that, we could just continue, rolling it over. So I'll put that in there. And Barb, I will connect with you, personally, send you a message when it's ready, so that you have access to that, because we would love to have you on Thursdays. Tomorrow's going to be our last art journaling night. If you want to join us for that too, we would love to see you there. And then starting in March, we'll be into the Discovery deck. So are there any other questions? All right. Well, I hope that you join us and that you're excited to create a deck of your own and have that magic of your own making and hear that muse inside. I'm very excited too, as I'm sure you can see, but I just think this is going to be so much fun. So we'll see you then, and we'll see you next Monday. Uma will be with me again, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Oh, good, Patricia. Thank you. So I'll put more information, and I will connect with both of you once that registration link is all ready to go. So blessed evening. Thank you so much for being here. And those of you watching later, thank you so much. Feel free to comment or message us directly with any questions. And we look forward to seeing you again. Much love. Mwah.